In a world without money you are nothing. At least that is what the world teaches you. Not directly but slowly, silently, consistently. From the moment you start understanding life, you begin to notice patterns. Who gets respect? Who gets ignored? Who gets opportunities? And who keeps waiting? And without realizing it, you start connecting everything to one thing: money. You see a man being heard not because he is right, but because he is rich. You see talent being ignored not because it is weak, but because it has no backing. You see dreams dying not because they were impossible, but because they were unaffordable. And somewhere deep inside, a belief starts forming. Maybe in this world, money is everything. Maybe without it, you are nothing. But pause for a second. If that was completely true, then every rich person would be fulfilled, and every poor person would be worthless. But reality does not work that way. Because what you are seeing is not the full truth. It is just the visible layer. Money does not create value. It reveals it, amplifies it, sometimes even distorts it. But it does not build it from nothing. So the real question is not whether money is everything. The real question is, why does the absence of money make you feel like nothing? Why does having less make you feel smaller? Why does society treat you differently, based on what you have instead of who you are? The answer is uncomfortable. Because humans do not just chase survival. They chase status. And money became the easiest way to measure it. A shortcut to importance. A symbol of control. A signal of power. So when you do not have it, you are not just struggling financially. You are fighting psychologically. You are fighting the feeling of being behind. Being less. Being invisible. And that fight is harder than anything else. Because it happens inside your mind. Every rejection feels personal. Every delay feels like failure. Every comparison feels like proof that you are not enough. And slowly, without even noticing, you start doubting yourself. Not your situation. Yourself. That is the real danger of having nothing. It is not the lack of money. It is the loss of belief. Because once you lose that, even if opportunities come, you will not take them. Even if doors open, you will not walk through them. That is how people stay stuck. Not because they cannot move forward, but because they no longer believe they can. But here is the shift. What if starting with nothing is not a weakness? What if it is an advantage in disguise? Because when you have nothing, you are forced to see reality without filters. You understand how the world actually works, not how it is supposed to work. You learn to observe, to calculate, to think deeper than comfort allows. You become aware of things people with easy lives never notice. And that awareness is power. Slow, invisible, quiet power. At first it does not look like much. No one claps for it. No one notices it. No one rewards it. But it is building something inside you. A mindset that is not dependent on conditions. A mindset that can survive pressure, adapt to change, and keep moving forward without validation. And that is rare. Because most people only function when things are going well. You learn to function when nothing is working. That changes everything. Because now, you are not waiting for the perfect moment. You are creating progress in imperfect conditions. And that is how real growth happens. Not when everything is easy, but when everything is uncertain. Step by step. Decision by decision. Failure by failure. you start building something. Not just income. Not just success. You start building yourself. Your discipline. Your focus. Your emotional control. And slowly, very slowly, your external world begins to reflect your internal growth. Opportunities start appearing. Connections start forming. Money starts flowing. Not suddenly. Not magically. But as a result of who you have become. And now here is the difference. When money comes to someone who is always comfortable, it often controls them. But when money comes to someone who had nothing, they control it. Because they respect it. But they are not defined by it. They use it. But they do not depend on it for identity. And that is true power. So no. In a world without money, you are not nothing. You are simply unseen. And being unseen is not the same as being worthless. It just means your time has not come yet. Your work is still in progress. Your value is still being built. Your moment is still approaching. But it will only come if you do not quit in a phase where nobody sees you. Because that phase is where everything is decided. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not when people are watching, but when no one cares. That is where identity is formed. That is where strength is created. That is where you either break, or you become something rare. Something real. So understand the system. But do not let it define you. Understand the importance of money. But do not reduce your existence to it. Because if you do, you will spend your whole life chasing value, instead of creating it. And the moment you start creating value, money stops being the goal, and starts becoming the result. And that is the moment everything changes. The world that once ignored you will start noticing you. The same people who doubted you will start questioning how you did it. But by then, you will already know the answer. It was never about money alone. It was about who you became when you had nothing. And that version of you, the one that struggled silently, the one that kept going without recognition, the one that refused to believe that he was nothing, that version of you is the reason you will become everything fire.